Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of ModernDayColemans. We're here today to discuss an interesting topic of dating somebody who has a new status that makes them a little bit more popular or maybe a little bit more known to other people socially.
And that can be anything from, an athlete or maybe like student body president or even being in a fraternity or a sorority.
So. Yeah. And this is actually a particular topic that me and India struggle with ourselves. So we got some pretty good insight on this one. You want to start?
Yeah. Even though I'm in a sorority and Rob's in a fraternity, Rob crossed into his fraternity 2 years before I did, because I crossed my senior year and he crossed our sophomore year.
Yep. Shout out to the Centennial Bros. Anyway.
Shout out to the Centennial Reds. Anyway.
1911 Club.
1913 Club. Anyway. So.
2011 Club.
2013 Club. We can do this all day. So, come on.
Alright, go ahead.
But, Rob crossed into his fraternity 2 years before I did, and we went to a black school. We went to HBCU, so, Greek life is very big there. And with Rob crossing into his fraternity, a lot of people were like, oh, Rob is an Omega, and congratulations, and blah, 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 blah. So it kind of wears and tears on you, especially if you don't really know about Greek life like that. And like I said, this can apply to anything. So like maybe your boyfriend is like a star on the basketball team, or he's student body president, or whatever it is that brings you more status on your college campus. And it's just a lot to deal with, especially like maybe like girls like that know we go together, or don't know, or know and don't care, and they just like, oh, Rob is in the fraternity now. Like, it's just so annoying, and it's really a lot to deal with. After, he crossed, I kind of felt a little, I don't want to say insecure, but it was just a lot to deal with, especially, I don't know, I don't want to say insecure.
Go ahead, just talk.
I don't want to say insecure, but it was just a lot to deal with, like with, the different girls, and like when Greek life is, it takes a lot of your time. So with that going on, we didn't spend as much time together as well. And then on top of that, like different girls, and it's just a new experience. Like whatever the case may be, it's a new experience. So the way that I dealt with that was, at first, the different girls and stuff, it really got on my nerves. Like, I mean, it still happens sometimes, but I don't really think about it. But then it really got on my nerves. And
she took it out on me pretty well. Attitudes every day, all day. Yes,
whatever. Anyway, but...
And got on my nerves, too.
Okay, no. Because I just feel like, if people should respect your relationship, people aren't always going to. So you have to really be comfortable in your relationship. I mean, now, if he was going back at them, then that's a different story. But if it's just different girls just doing different things, or trying to come at your boyfriend or girlfriend in a disrespectful way, then that's something you have to deal with. But at the same time, don't let it make you insecure in your relationship.
Don't do it.
And another thing is, like I said, Greek life is very time consuming. So with Rob being in a new fraternity, we didn't spend a lot of time together, as much time as we did. So it kind of put a stress on our relationship, because he had to do different things. And the way that I dealt with that is I ended up getting into more activities that Rob wasn't involved in. Like, I couldn't just sit around and just be like, oh, Rob is doing his Greek life stuff. I'm just going to sit in my room. Like, I wanted to do different things. So I actually got into student activities board that year. Well, the end of that year. I got into student activities board. And then I got into more of my work. Like, I just spent a lot more time doing work and hanging out with my friends and doing student activities board. Like the time that I would have spent with Rob, I was just doing that stuff. So, like, pick up a hobby.
I mean, it can be hard to deal with on the other side too, because I know for me, a lot of the time she got on my nerves because she was always questioning me about different things and all that. And it got to a point where it was just stuff that we didn't used to have to deal with in the relationship coming up. Like, oh, well, why you hugging her while y'all in the club? Because I got in the club and I seen her. She's a familiar face. I was like, what's up? You know what I mean? But it's a lot of things. I found myself explaining myself, and I found myself doing a lot of things that I shouldn't have done. But I was getting big headed at the time though. I mean, a lot of things were going to my head. Being in front of a crowd and hopping, y'all know, the bros know how that can be. That's live. When you do reach a new status, you also have to do your part to kind of keep things the same as well. I mean, I know I had a lot of meetings and I had a whole bunch of events that we had to cover, and we had a lot of things to do, especially as neos. But I still should have been, you know what I mean, trying to keep doing my part. And I learned that as I went too, because she'd be texting me all day, and you know, we used to text all day nonstop. But then it got to the point where, well, I'm in this meeting, I can't really text, or well, I have to get this paper turned in, I have to get this requisition signed, I have to do this. So it got to the point where I was kind of busy. And then on top of that, my other friends, you know what I mean, who I was cool with before I even crossed, they wanted to hang with me still too. And it got to the point where I ain't had time for a lot of things. While becoming a member, I also had to learn how to prioritize my time and how to make time when I don't have time. When I use those skills outside of the fraternity and in true life, then a lot of things started to come together. And I was able to spend time with my boo being like she want to, because she love to be the center of attention. I'm trying to tell
you. That's a lie.
She can't take it. She can't take
That's
it. That's
really a lie. I don't like to be the center of attention. I don't really like to be the center of attention.
You don't like to be the center of attention when it's other people. When it's me, you have to be right here all the time.
Okay.
So yeah, she has to be the center of my attention all the time. That's one thing that she hates. So it's always gonna be like that.
I remember one incident in particular when Rob had his probate show, which is basically showing the school all the members who crossed into that fraternity at that time. And you know, when they showed Rob and everything, we were on Twitter. You know, different people were like, "Oh, congratulations, Rob," which I don't mind at all. And this one girl, she was just like, "Oh, who is that? I need him right there." And I was just like, "Oh my God." It was just too much. Like, she went on and on. Like, she was asking people, like, "Who is that?" And blah, blah. And I was just like, this is probably somebody I'm going to have to worry about. But I think that's when it started for me, because after that, I just always had my eyes open. Like, who's saying what? And then it was another thing the next day. No, it wasn't the next day. It was the first day, because Rob's probate show was on a Saturday. And that Monday, you know, the people who didn't go to the probate show, you know, they were seeing him for the first time. They're like, you know, congratulations and stuff. And I'm walking to class, and I turn to the side, and I see, like, this girl, she was really happy that he got into the fraternity, and she just was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy." And she just gave him this big hug, and my face was just like, really? But I mean, I don't know, because I kind of understood it more after I crossed into my sorority, because people did the same thing. Like, I don't think people on Twitter like, "Who is that right there?" But like, people, no,
they was.
But people they're really excited for you. It's a big accomplishment and everything. So, you know, everybody wants to congratulate you. So after I crossed into my sorority, I understood that part. So it's all about understanding and getting a hobby, understanding, being secure in your relationship. And if you have real problems concerning maybe like the time that y'all aren't spending together, or maybe somebody's being disrespectful, just talk about it. Communication is key.
And then I thought things were going to be different when she crossed and she came out at her probate show, but things were no different. Like, the exact same things that she complained about when I came out is the same things that happened when she came out.
It's so
but
true.
The roles kind of reversed. And so I felt what she was feeling back then. I was still doing the same thing. I was complaining like, "Oh, you want to be out now?" Like,
yeah. And then
but I just had to adjust to it, because I understood it, but it's just like, I feel like since I understood it and she knew how it felt to be on the other end, and she should understand me. But then she was saying, "Well, you know how I feel on the other end, so I should understand her." So we just had to come to an agreement, because it was crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy to see how it is on the other side. You know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling a certain way, and I'm like, "Why don't you get it?" But then 2 years later, I'm feeling what you was feeling. I'm like, "Why don't you get it?" And it was worse for me, because it was my senior year. So on top of that, you know, I'm trying to graduate too, and it was just a lot, but it was all worth it.
And it's still all worth it.
Exactly.
Exactly. You see how that look make her blush? Look, watch this.
Stop, seriously. Okay. But yeah, this applies to any situation. Like I said, if you're dating like a popular cheerleader or a popular basketball player, popular football player, student body president, what are some other things people obtain status from?
The singer of the school.
No, that one girl that can sing really good.
That one girl that can sing.
That one girl that can dance really good. I guess.
Make sure the status for a good thing, though. Please.
Oh.
Please make sure the status for a good thing.
Oh my gosh, definitely. Yeah. No, that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother.
You got so serious.
No, because I really had to think.
Like, oh, yeah, that's a whole.
That's something totally different. Like, we're talking about status to where people treat you like campus, like celebrity, or that type of thing. But
I remember one time India told me they treat me like I was a Greek god.
Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. Like, you really see how people. It's just interesting to see how people act differently towards someone when something changes, and it like they join a team or a fraternity. It's just really like they know the same person this whole time, but all of a sudden, something happens, and all of a sudden they're just like, all of a sudden they have a crush on them, or all of a sudden they want to talk to them. On the other side, I just want to say that if you're the person who has the status, I want to make sure that y'all know that your significant other is probably coming from a place where they just want to spend time with you, and you're probably gonna have to. You don't have to. You shouldn't have to, but you probably want to do a little bit more reassuring that the relationship is still the same and everything, like. Because you're probably going to have, like Rob said, you're probably going to have to work a little bit harder to keep everything together. And don't let it get to your head. Because being like a star person on the team or anything like that, I'm sure people are always complimenting you and telling you how great of a ball player you are or whatever. But just make sure to keep it humble and remember who was there for you before you got to where you are.
And a lot of people think that people who get Greek and they change, but they don't realize that when you're Greek, the way people treat you changes, and that may have some effect on you too.
Mm-hmm. And that goes, like you said, that goes for any of the statuses. Like, I could only imagine like the star quarterback at like a big university. I know that probably gets to your head. Like, but try to stay as humble as you can, and like I said, just remember who was there for you before, because it's probably going to be even more genuine. Because some people are probably going to be coming around you because of your newfound status.
Oh, by the way, y'all, we doing this video, but you see what she still got in her hand? This phone.
Okay.
It don't never leave her side. It don't ever leave her
I
side.
was doing this. Like, I was just doing something while I was talking. Shut up, Rob. You always trying to do something.
Where my phone at?
Right there.
Why you lying? Yeah, you dirty too.
But anyway, guys, we want to know what you have to say. So if you have any stories to tell us or examples, or maybe we left something out, just let us know. Leave it in the comment section.
Just let us know if you agree, if you disagree, if you think we could have handled it a different way. I mean, if you want to offer us advice, that's good too. I mean, we're willing to hear everything. So, yeah, just comment, let us know. Hey, before I go, shout out to my chapter, the legendary Lemon Sigma chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated at Claflin University. Also, shout out to my profile. You see the shirt, it's a team thing. J Dukes at J Dukes 1911. Follow him and book him for your events because he's a nice host.
And shout out to Claflin University, and shout out to the Claflin University chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
She be copying me.
Shout out to the Gamma chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I love all of y'all. Alright guys, we'll be back soon with another video.
Alright y'all, stay tuned. Modern Day Colemans out.
Bye.